Sarah is passionate about helping people and organizations discover their possibilities. When she isn't coaching, consulting, facilitating, or running this event with me, she performs improvisation with comedy experiments. So please welcome Sarah.
This is my fourth one, and I'm still just as nervous as I did my first one. So, the holidays are upon us. A week from today starts the start of the holiday shopping season for many of us. It's a time of joy and good cheer and visions of sugar plums dancing through our head, right? And time with the family. The problem is, what comes with that is also a little bit of stress, right? What research shows us and tells us is that we will experience about 40 to 50% increase in our stress levels. Why? Because we're thinking about that we don't have enough money, that we don't have enough time, we're not going to get the right present. Is my Christmas memory worthy to put on Pinterest? Right? That's true. The other problem is when we're planning all these, is we're spending so much of our time thinking and rehearsing for the future. And we're thinking about the next moments, and we're figuring out how to have that happen, or we're worried or we're regretful because we haven't done what we needed to do. The problem is when we're spending our time here and we're spending our time here, we're missing this moment. This here is the moment that's the most important. So what I want to do tonight is I want to talk about how being present, how exploring mindfulness can actually decrease your stress, not just in the holiday season, but also elsewhere. And I know some of you are probably like, Sarah, what the hell do you know about stress? Here's the reality. Ever since I was a very little girl, I've always been a worrier. Now, the next photo that comes up is going to tell you otherwise. Earlier this year, I started experiencing panic attacks. And if anyone's experienced them, they suck real bad. And so when you get diagnosed with panic disorder, you figure out how to have a different relationship with stress in a hurry. So I got introduced to mindfulness, and it changed my life. So, what is mindfulness? Mindfulness, according to John Kabat-Zinn, who's a clinical expert in mindfulness, describes it as this: paying attention in a particular way, on purpose, in the moment, without judgment. Wouldn't we all want to do that? So, today, in this moment, I want us to experience being in the present. So here at Jasper Winery, the beautiful thing is you don't have to do anything. You just have to experience whatever it is you're experiencing. There's no right or wrong. So, I want to invite you to experience 20 seconds of just quiet reflection. So how was that? Raise your hand if you heard something that you didn't hear before. You thought of something, suddenly you became aware of the weight of your lover's hand on your knee. How many of you, it was awkward? Oh my God, what is she gonna do? And some of you might think it was liberating. That's the beauty of being in the moment. There's no right or wrong. So what happens in mindfulness is that we connect with things in the moment. What are we seeing? What are we hearing? What are we feeling? But we do so in a way with the beginner's mind. We're curious about it, and we treat it with non-judgment. And when the judgment comes in, we acknowledge it. I'm judging myself, and I bring it back to this moment. So what does this have to do with stress? So here's our amygdala. This is the part of our brain which controls our fight or flight sort of primal need. It's constantly scanning our environment to tell us that we are in threat, right? The problem is when this gets activated, it overtakes and hijacks our logic and our reasoning, which causes stress, which causes anxiety and panic. What research shows us is that in as little as 8 weeks of mindfulness, our brain changes. There's extra activity happening in the front left part of our brain, which has been associated with decrease and reduction of stress and anxiety, and an increase of positive experience. And who wouldn't want that, right? So the other thing it does is it decreases our heart rate, it lowers our blood pressure, increases our energy, it strengthens our alertness, it gives us more accessibility to our emotions, it decreases that self-criticism, right? That little voice that says you're not good enough, and it decreases your stress. And I know a lot of you are like, I don't know how to do this, and I sure as hell don't have time. I've said it. So I'm going to give you 4 really simple things you can do during the holiday season to connect you with the moment right here and right now. The first one is, when you are wrapping your gifts, I want you to simply take just a couple seconds and just feel the wrapping paper. Feel it. Notice how the light reflects off of it. Listen to how it sounds when you cut it. The person you're buying the present for, how do they make you feel? And just experience that moment. And if you're like me on a night like tonight, I like to have hot cocoa. And so instead of just ripping open my Swiss Miss, yes I drink Swiss Miss, and pour it in, do so with some intent. And notice how, wow, my hand just knows exactly what to do with that steaming cup of milk. And I want to be intentional about bringing it to my lips and feeling the warmth and the sweetness just go through just a couple seconds. If you practice Christmas, if you have a Christmas tree, if not, light a candle, turn off the lights, and just experience the warmth and the glow. How does it illuminate the room in a different way? What kind of shadows are created? If you have a Christmas tree, what ornaments are on there that are evoking some sort of childhood memory? And just be. Or, pick a loved one. This is my dog Seymour. And experience them with a beginner's mind. What would it be like if somebody who you were married to for 20 years, you suddenly discovered something new about the way they looked, the way they sounded, the way that you experienced them? So these are really, really simple things that you can do to get out of planning and out of figuring out what you need to do next and just be in the moment. Because the beautiful thing is, you don't have to meditate for 60 minutes to get this benefit. It can be as simple as a breath. Okay. So the reality is, the holidays are going to happen, whether we like it or not. But the good news is we can control how they happen to us. So what I hope for all of you is that as you move forward, you don't forget to bring your holiday presents with you. So may you all be well. That's the end of my presentation. And as soon as this goes to the beer break sign, we're going to take a wine break for 15 minutes.